So if you guys couldn't tell already by the title of this video, I finally have a chance to sit down and answer everyone's questions about the UT CAP program. So everyone that's been accepted into CAP or into UT, congratulations. I am so proud of you guys. And hopefully this video can give all of my CAP kids a little bit more peace of mind. A list of some of the most popular questions I've gotten right here. So let's start with the number one most asked question that I've gotten so far. How hard is it to keep a good GPA / a 4.0 during your CAP year? Personal experience, I did not have a 4.0 my freshman year of college, and that is completely okay. Obviously, if you're gunning for some of the other UT schools that aren't COLA, I would highly recommend y'all to keep your GPA at a 4.0 or closer to a 4.0. But if you are in one of the guaranteed majors in COLA, I would say it's okay if you mess up a little bit. My next most asked question has been about my experience as a pre-med student that did CAP. Like I said in my last CAP video, I would highly recommend you guys to stick to your original plan. Do not listen to the advisors, because in my personal experience, my advisor at my CAP school did not do me any justice. Especially if you're pre-med, I really want you to do your own research before going to your CAP advisors, because some of the advisors aren't very familiar with stuff that happens at UT or the pre-med track in general. Also, my next biggest piece of advice for any pre-health student that's doing CAP would be to utilize your first year at your CAP school. Because you're most likely going to be taking a lot of core classes and your pre-health prereqs, you will have a lot of time on your hands. I would say use this to your advantage. Get in those recommendation letters if you can, take on some volunteering, try to connect with some professors at your school. It's okay if they're not going to be at UT. You can still build connections at your CAP school, and trust me, they will come into use when you least expect them to. Keep up those volunteer hours, take on shadowing, do research, connect, and also have fun. In order to stay a traditional medical school applicant, especially if you don't want to be taking a gap year or falling behind in your pre-med classes, I would highly recommend you to stick with the traditional 4-year pre-med prerequisite plan and be taking Intro Bio 1 and 2 along with the labs, and then Gen Chem 1, Gen Chem 2 your first year at your CAP school. This way, once you get to UT Austin, you won't have to sit through Gen Chem 1, Gen Chem 2, or Bio 1, Bio 2 with all the other freshmen, obviously if that's something that you care about. Next most asked question is, how hard is it to internally transfer once you get to UT as a COLA major? So, my major was health and society, which luckily was one of the guaranteed COLA majors, so I did not have to worry about reapplying or internally transferring once I got to UT. I do have a lot of friends that did end up internally transferring once they got to UT or applied to another UT school for their major. Biggest recommendation is to make sure that you keep your extracurriculars up, your GPA up, and rack in those recommendation letters. Essentially, you're going to be reapplying to UT even though you are a CAP student. This is just something that I want to re-emphasize. If you are going to be applying to another UT school that isn't COLA, just keep in mind that CAP students do not get any priority over other transfer applicants to any of the other schools. This means that competitive schools like CNS and McCombs only save like 2 to 5 seats for transfer applicants. Not only for CAP kids, this is for any transfer applicant. This is something that I would heavily consider before doing CAP, especially if your major is in CNS, engineering, McCombs, etc. Isn't to say that it's impossible. There are definitely students that might have gotten into their major in McCombs or CNS or engineering, but it is going to be very competitive. The next question I've been asked a lot is, how fast do you need to be signing the CAP agreement and selecting your CAP school? I would say do it immediately as soon as the CAP agreement opens up this month, just because the good CAP schools do fill out fast. I would say UTA and UTSA are two of the most popular CAP schools that a lot of students do tend to gravitate towards. If you are in the Dallas area, I would highly recommend you sticking to UTA, but obviously it's personal preference. Next question. When am I supposed to be looking for housing for my sophomore year at UT? So my current roommates also happen to be CAP kids, and when we were at our CAP school at UTA, we were actually looking for housing fall semester of our first year of college. And I know that might sound very soon, but trust me, housing around UT, especially off-campus housing in the apartments, fills up very fast. So if you want a good deal on your apartment, or you want to stay close to campus, or if you have any preferences of that sort, I would say start looking for housing ASAP, just so you're not stuck with the bad apartments here. If you are planning on coming back to the dorms once you're here at UT, I believe that on-campus housing opens the summer before you get to UT. Also, just a heads up, Reddit also has some really good resources that talk a lot more about CAP in depth if you do have questions, as well as the Texas this admissions website. The thing that you should be considering before you do CAP is that once you're a CAP student, you will not be eligible for any sort of scholarships your first year of college. I'm not 100% sure if that rule also applies to once you're at UT, but I am pretty sure that during your CAP year, you're not eligible for any sort of scholarships. Also, if you do decide to apply to UT Austin after your fall semester, so that means like transfer earlier and get into UT your spring semester, that means that you will be breaking your CAP agreement, I believe, and you won't be officially considered as a CAP student anymore, if that makes any sense. Unless you're 1000% sure that you will be getting into UT your spring semester of freshman year, I would say don't even risk it and try to apply. Because if I were you, I wouldn't try to break that CAP agreement. Okay, well, I hope this video helped. Those were just a few of the questions that I've been getting a lot. And obviously, if you have any more questions, feel free to DM me on either TikTok, Instagram, or just leave a comment under this video, and I will get to y'all as soon as I can. Yeah, good luck to everyone, and I hope everyone gets the CAP school that they want to, and hook 'em.